The time and the place. This is Persuaders Season 1. There is only one season. We're reviewing every episode in order. I got them all on Blu-ray from Imprint, I believe is the place that sold them. It was a great box set. A lot of great features on there. It's insane. The Blu-ray transfer is great. So we're reviewing all these episodes. We are using my space system. So story, pacing, artistry, characters, enjoyment. Each category gets a score between 0 and 2. 2's the best you can get in any category. Up until this point, I've really been shilling hard for this show. I love it. I actually like this episode, but I don't love this episode. I feel the story kind of gets away from itself and becomes slightly just generic, and it's just the bad guys. I'm going to give the storyline a 1 out of 2. So it's like okay. The premise is interesting. Danny discovers this dead man. And then he goes to get Brett on the side of the road. There's like a little cliff, and he finds this dead guy, and he's like, hey, there's a dead guy here. And they go, and they're like, oh, he's not there. What happened? Come to find out, this guy's a reporter. He's on to this group of individuals who plan to overthrow the government. I find it difficult to believe that this small little group of people is going to overthrow this government, and they would be so sloppy as to have this dead body kind of around. I feel that it's just, this one is just more like a, let's just have an excuse to have them fight the bad guys rather than planning out an intricate tale. A lot of these Persuader episodes, stories focus on very weird, either like, hypnotism or impersonating another guy or some sort of weird mystery plot. It's almost like, think of it as like I don't want to say Agatha Christie, but let's say like, a mystery kind of thing with these two guys investigating it. And this one has that a little bit. But it's just these bad guys who are just, want to overthrow the government. You're like, well, it's not, it's a bit more obvious. It's more of like generic action show plot than the way the Persuaders works, but it's still a good story. I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm still giving it a 1 point. 1 point means it was okay. The story was okay. The pacing does suffer a little bit because of that. I'm giving the pacing a 1, so the pacing was okay as well. I'm never bored because the two leads are so good, and I just enjoy watching them together. But I lost interest in the story. I'm like, yeah, they're just going to win anyway. So the thing is that what's great about the Persuaders, it's sort of like Fletch, the Fletch films, where Fletch himself is a very funny character and he's investigating a pretty solid mystery. A lot of these Persuader episodes that if you didn't have the two leads be so charismatic and so cool together, it'd still be pretty good because the stories are usually pretty damn good. This one relies heavily on Tony Curtis and Roger Moore being awesome. And the story is sort of secondary. But they are awesome. So there is that. I'm gonna get to the characters in a second. I'm gonna give the artistry a 1.5. There is a bit more locations in this one than there was in some. Sometimes you get a Persuaders episode where there's just like one little mansion, and you can tell there's one set that they reuse, which is just like regular set and then stairs going up and around, and that is redressed many times for these episodes. I think I've seen it in the last like 6 or something or whatever. I don't even know how many episodes I've reviewed, but it's been in all of the episodes that I've reviewed up until now. Maybe 1 or 2 didn't have them, but you've seen it all the time. So there's that, but it looks pretty decent. There's some good stuff going on. There's some good fisticuffs here, a couple of good punches and some stunt work. So it was pretty good. I like the artistry. The characters are going to give it a 1.5, and the reason I'm not giving it a 2 is because I don't think the villains were all that cool. They seem very generic to me. Of course, Danny and Brett are absolutely fantastic. There's some great parts here where Danny does, he pretends to be this inspector from Scotland Yard. It's absolutely hilarious, and it's terrible. He's like, I'm from Scotland Yard. It's like, okay. Like, no, you're not. Then these two other fake cops show up, and you're like, hey, you guys are fake too, and then they have a little fight. It's great. He's awesome. There's a part where they're trying to kill him off, and they're going to put the chloroform over him and like trying to knock him out. And he actually really fights it pretty good. A lot of the times they don't fight it a lot in shows. Like it's like this, and then the guy just like it's like it doesn't work that fast. Like you need to inhale this a while, right? I don't think it's like this. It's more like you're struggling, so there's a lot of struggling. So I actually found that to be kind of a bit more realistic, and it made it a little bit more awesome that way. I can give the enjoyment factor a 1.5 because I'm a bit of a shill for this show, and I'm kind of a sucker. I love it anyways. The two of them are so great together. I was just slightly miffed a little bit because the last ones have been so great on the story with the intricacies of it, that this one just fell a little bit short. So I'm giving it a 6.5 out of 10. If every category gets a 1 out of 2, you get a 5 out of 10. And 5 out of 10 means it was okay. So I know a lot of reviewers would see a 5 or a 6 out of 10 as a bad score. To me, a bad score is a 2 or 3. Like, I don't know what I gave the Fall Guy movie, which I absolutely hated, but that's probably like a 2 out of 10 or something, right? Where it's like I gave it a couple of points for some interesting action pieces, and that's about it. The rest of it was terrible. Like, I hated the characters, I hated the story. It was too long. You know what I mean? So like something like that where it was really nice on some action scenes, the rest of it was brutal. So think of it that way. A 5 out of 10 means it's okay. So 6.5 out of 10 is, yeah, that was pretty good, right? Mostly due to the two leads. So again, please make sure you like the video. Check out the playlist for classic TV shows, lots on there. That's it. Until next time.